In this video, we're discussing daily challenges in business, the best book to buy for building a business, and which restaurant I would franchise. Hey guys, welcome back to another Q&A video with a small business owner. I think I want to start calling this the Ask Not Gary Vee show, but we seem to be ripping off every format that he does at the moment. But first of all, welcome the new drum kit, or welcome to the studio with the new drum kit. Any Iron Maiden fans will recognize that behind me, and that is going to be getting some good use and a lot of content made out of it for our drum channel over on YouTube and other social media platforms. But back to this today, we've got a few more questions, Reddit, entrepreneur, business forum questions, a load of good stuff in this one, so let's jump in. Now, normally you're meant to save the best question to last, but this one's actually one of my favorites, and we're going to be starting with this one. What is a daily problem that keeps bugging you, but you haven't yet found a solution? Two answers to this question, and the actual real answer at the moment for us is cash flow, and that is most businesses, to be honest. And at the moment, especially with December moving into January, for a start, every invoice that we seem to send gets delayed by Christmas. Christmas got in the way of the payment run, and as if Christmas comes round by surprise and catches everybody out. And then a kind of a lot of, we'll review this in the new year and that sort of thing. So January, December time, at the moment that we're filming this, is always a little bit tricky. And a daily problem is always cash flow. Trying to get projects over the line, get them signed off, get that purchase order, get the invoice in. There's a lot of kind of small, tiny steps that you need to continuously, as a video agency, which we are, just be constantly trying to run through as quickly as possible. So that's one of the first problems. One of the more general problems as a business of any kind, really, or a business owner of a few different things that we have going on, is actually just constant problems, stupid little things that tally up. And actually one of the biggest problems in business normally comes not as one individual thing. And I've done a video talking about the fact that it's never one problem. It's always, 10 small hurdles that build up to make one big hurdle. And that can easily write off a day, a week, a month, a year in some cases, and be a real challenge. And that's what we've had even today trying to film this. We've started filming, the lights have gone off, ran out of battery. Just so many stupid things. Technology, especially in the video agency world, can be a bit of a nightmare. And so those are two answers to the same question. The actual answer, cash flow, is always a nightmare. And we're trying to explore different revenue streams, different businesses that we can try and bolt on, so that when you have those peaks and you have those troughs, you can have another business that maybe does the opposite and hopefully balances things out across the year. But then as a business owner, it is always tough. The world always feels like, or it always feels like the world is against you, and there will always be things that get in the way every single day. Right, so next question isn't actually a bit more of a statement, but talking about the idea, if you surround yourself with rich people and successful people, do you have more chance of becoming successful? Or this person saying you do have more chance of becoming successful. For the most part, I absolutely agree with this, but now we live in the modern world. You don't actually have to be person to person hanging out with those people. There are so many amazing people online now as well, content creators from all over the world and business owners from all over the world that you can learn so much from. So now my social media timelines pretty much is just entrepreneur, and all those kind of people that I want to be following, that I want to learn from. And I really do think that kind of purposefully, I guess, changing my timeline into those sorts of things has really, really helped me, myself, business as well. And yeah, feels like, even though you're hanging around with those people and learning from them as much as you can. I think as well, just to add, some of the clients that we've actually worked with, where we've developed sort of personal brands, YouTube channels, all that kind of thing, there's actually been a lot that I've learned from clients as well. So not just purposely trying to go hang out with other business owners or people that are other, freelancers, whatever it is. Sometimes actually, depending in the area that you work in or the service that you provide or your product, you might actually find that your clients, your customers, are who you can learn a lot from. And there's certainly been a couple of clients of mine that have been influential in some degree, some more than others, and things that I've learned, some things that I've saw what they do wrong to a degree as well, and gone, actually, I don't like the way that they run that business, or I don't like the way that their day looks. I'd actually want to try and avoid that. And this client over here, that's who I want to be a bit more like. And so that's also been really helpful, and thought that was worth knowing. Bit more of a statement, this one, followed with a who agrees, the classic LinkedIn. But business success is really only a success if you have a smile on your face in the process. Now, I absolutely agree with this. I don't think anyone can disagree with this, but even when you are following a passion, a purpose, whatever, something that you really, really enjoy and something that you will never see yourself growing tired of in business and wanting to follow that mission and aim for 50 years, there will still be days that business is tough, or that the day just feels like it is against you, or the week feels like it is against you, or the world, as we talked about earlier, is against you. But when you actually do something that you do enjoy, it makes those difficult days a little bit easier. And I can certainly vouch for that. I absolutely love video production and all things creative and media, and it does help on those days where maybe a particular client either isn't paying or a project's going south and proving to be a little bit tricky. The fact that we actually really do enjoy what we do makes things a bit easier. Next question, probably one of the most frequently asked questions when it does come to business and entrepreneurship. What is the best book on building a business? Now, I think I've already answered this one in another video, but the ones that come to mind straight off the top of my head, Losing My Virginity, Richard Branson, is a tremendous book for someone who, in terms of actually just sharing their story, talk about daily challenges and struggles. This guy had the world again against him, and all the big corporations and people that he went to go up against and challenge, British Airways being one, really goes to show how much kind of fighting spirit and a good team and a good idea and energy and enthusiasm you have to have just to get going, never mind be up against the challenges that you're facing. So that's really, really good read. I actually listened to that one on audiobook, and Richard Branson himself narrates that one or does the voiceover, so highly recommend checking that out. Another amazing book, How to Get Rich by Felix Dennis. I actually had a big project down south somewhere, so we had about an 8-hour round trip, 4 hours there, 4 hours back, whatever it was, and I actually listened to the whole book in one sitting, as far as I remember, or most of it. And I remember just driving down the motorway, endless motorways and country roads, and just constantly being, wow, right, what an amazing idea. I need to make a note of that, right? I will not forget that. Constant golden nuggets whilst listening to that book. And actually one of the biggest lessons that I got from that was talking about the idea that ideas themselves hold no value. It is actually how you execute those ideas that have the value. So you can't copyright an idea, but you can copyright or patent how you actually do that idea, if that makes sense. I remember the idea he gave in the book was if you had a beer, I think, that never went flat, you kind of copyright that idea. But if you work out how you actually make that beer never go flat, you can patent and copyright and hold the value in the actual execution. So I thought that was a really good example. I'm sure that is the example that he gives, but that notion anyways was something that I found a lot of value in. He also talks about, of course, the importance of a team, building a team, A-star players, all that kind of thing, and actually holding equity in your business, and the importance of equity in your business, and not wanting to sell to investors and venture capitalists, or vulture capitalists as some people would call them, for the sake of having some quick money into your business. Hold on to the equity as much as you possibly can. That is where your value is. So they're the two main books that come to mind. They're definitely been two of my favorite. I know Shoe Dog is another great one. You think about spending £10 to spend 8 hours with the CEO of Nike, and that is how you do it. That book right there, the story start to finish, absolutely incredible. Highly recommend checking that out too. Next question here, if you had to franchise a restaurant, which one would it be? Now my gut answer, or I guess you would say stomach, is saying Subway. I absolutely love Subway, but there's something about that brand or franchise at the moment. Bearing in mind, no matter which job I am on, no matter where I am in the country, I will manage to scope out the nearest Subway, as a running joke across every client shoot that we do. Sometimes the standards really easily slip in those stores, and so I don't think either they do a good enough job of training the people that own those stores and want to franchise those stores, or their quality checks, their quality assurance, their quality management maybe isn't always on point. I know they're a lot bigger in America than they are in the UK, so maybe it's different. But of course, the age-old saying used to be, at least, if you want to become a millionaire, own a McDonald's franchise. And realistically, as much as there are many other restaurants and franchise restaurants that I personally would rather own, financially, I guess McDonald's is always going to be the better shout. There's not a massive amount of money or opportunity realistically to be made as a franchisee McDonald's store owner, but you just cannot fail. And I think that is where the value actually is. It's not always about the revenues or profit margins as such. That is obviously hugely important in business. When wouldn't it be? But the fact that you can't fail. You would have to be so beyond stupid. We're talking like dumb and dumber level of stupid. That's the fact that I can't say that probably says it all. We're talking dumb and dumber levels of stupid to not be able to run a McDonald's franchise. I really embarrassed myself with that one, but I think we get the point. So last question on this one. Can you buy items before incorporating a limited company? Now, I'm going to sound like a tax advisor or an accountant. I am absolutely not. Please check with your accountant or tax advisor or both or neither. Do what you want. Just don't say that the advice came from me. But yes, you can buy items before incorporating the limited company. That is actually what I've done with this agency, all the camera equipment and everything I had bought personally myself, operated for 4 or 5 years. Then I formed the limited company, and then you basically transfer the ownership of that to the limited company. That included vehicles, cameras, lights, pretty much everything, and we transferred that over, and then the company owes you that money. If that's what this person is talking about, yes, you absolutely can. I think there was some, in this particular question, nervousness around actually incorporating the limited company and doing things properly. I do actually, or would say to this person, you're absolutely best off. Just set the limited company up, do it correct from the start, do it properly from the start. It will force you to be a better business owner, a better business operator, and it will not be, you will think differently to rather, I've made this money's mine, everything that you spend or invest is a cost. Whereas when it's the business, you see things totally different. You almost allow the business to invest that money because you think it, in your head, weirdly, you think it's not mine. And so it forces you, it allows you to, and it gives you the opportunity to run a business properly. So yes, you can do whatever you've just asked about, buying things before you actually set the limited company up. You don't need to do that, but I would always just do it from the start properly. I wish I had done that 5 years ago. That rounds up this latest episode of Q&A with a small business owner. We do need to come up with an actual name for this series, even though we are just essentially ripping off my hero, my idol, or once was Gary Vee. But yes, if you have any questions, please do drop them in the comments. We'll be sure to feature them on the channel and answer them as best we can. Hopefully we can actually help. And if there's any subjects that you'd like me to talk about in a bit more detail, even as just an idea for a YouTube video, then also drop them down below, because we're desperate basically. We've got a load of good ideas, but we want so many more because we've got so much content that we want to put out on this channel. So any questions, drop them in the comments and I will see you in the next video.